Hey, this is Jim with BikeFixTips.com, and I want to show you how to build your own helmet cam with just probably only a couple of dollars, opposed to buying an actual helmet cam. Probably costs over $100. I was able to build this just from a couple parts from the hardware store that you can get at your local hardware store, and a couple parts laying around the house. I just wanted to show you before I show you how to build it. I just want to show you what it looks like on the helmet, and it should be able to fit any camera, like a click and shoot camera that has an attachment for a tripod, and usually those are universal. They fit like a 1/4 inch by 20 threading from any hardware store screw. Anyways, I just want to show you on the helmet itself what it looks like, and sorry for the video because I'm using the camera to videotape it along with pictures, so we're looking at a mirror right now. But anyways, this is the side shot, and I'm leaving the camera pointed towards you, obviously, so you can see it, but this is a front view, and it's very sturdy actually. I haven't taken it for a ride yet, but I'm trying that out soon. And then on the way that this mount is set up, you should be able to swivel it around so you can videotape your buddies that are right behind you. If you're doing some kind of video of your own and you just wanted to play around, this is a good way to have your own little your little helmet cam, and you can make it right at your home. And it only cost me probably $2 to $3 over at the hardware store with the parts that you need. Anyways, so now I will show you how to build it yourself. And this is what it looks like on. I mean, it looks kind of silly with the helmet cam, but it's a helmet cam. They all look silly. Anyways, and it's pretty sturdy. It doesn't wiggle a whole lot, and this is a better version and like a handlebar cam, because handlebar cams would have a lot of vibration from the bike as you're going down the trail. As with your body, you're absorbing a lot of that vibration, and so your head is actually probably the most stable part of your body when you're on the ride. But anyways, now we'll show you how to build it. You also need an inner tube, preferably an older one that you can cut up and use scrap. We will be cutting a piece of inner tube apart, so if you do have just a good tube, you're going to ruin it. So a pair of scissors, an expansion nut. It's threaded on one end and it's not threaded on the other, hence the expansion part. This rubber piece right here will expand. And this is called an elevator bolt. Notice there's like a disc on one end and a bolt on the other. This is about 1 inch from one end to the other, and 2 zip ties. And the difference between the two is the expansion nut barely rests, so the bolt is exposed slightly once this is screwed all the way down, which will be just enough threading that you can bolt it down to your camera and tighten down. And once you tighten down the camera onto the bolt, this expansion nut keeps the tension so the camera doesn't spin itself off. And a helmet. I brought a couple helmets that you can. I'll show you that it doesn't matter what kind of helmet you have, you'll be able to attach this helmet cam to any helmet that you have. It just takes a little bit of improvising. Okay, first step you need to do is get your elevator bolt and your expansion nut, and you want to find these actually at Ace Hardware or some kind of hardware store in your area. And I would take the actual camera that you're going to be using down to the Ace Hardware or the hardware store, and just to make sure that the threading on the bolt matches the threading on the bottom of the camera where the tripod normally attaches to. I found this expansion nut to fit perfectly with this elevator bolt, and I measured the elevator bolt from the back of the bolt to the tip is 1 inch. This expansion nut from end to end is 3/4 inch, but when you count for this little not threaded area, it works out to be perfect to the point where it's barely threaded, just enough for the camera to start to thread onto, and it provides some tension. But before you put the expansion nut on, you want to prepare the elevator nut to attach to the helmet. And that's where the old inner tube comes in handy. What you want to do is just find an old inner tube that you no longer use, and you're going to put the elevator bolt on top of the inner tube, find out how much you need to cut cut it just so that the base of the elevator nut or elevator bolt is totally covered. And once you do that, then fold it in half, fold it in half again that way, cut off this little corner, and that provides a little hole for the elevator bolt to stick through. And you stick the bolt through until it backs up against the base of the elevator bolt. And then the inner tube itself is just kind of like a padding to keep the bolt from wiggling around once it's attached to the helmet, and it keeps the bolt from scratching up your helmet. Once you have the inner tube on the bolt, attach your expansion nut, the threaded side first onto the bolt. You want the expansion part to be facing towards where the camera is going to be attaching to. Just back that down all the way till it gets to the end of the threading, and at this point you want to attach to your helmet. And you can pick any point on the helmet. I try to find a place that's most like on the top part of the helmet. It could be slightly to the left or slightly to the right. The only problem with the slightly left or right is the helmet starts to curve, so you might have a slight angle to your camera. Try to find something that's as most center as you possibly can. I found this point on my helmet, but I brought several helmets, or another helmet just in case, so I can show you that this will work with any helmet. You attach this one to probably right here, right here, right here, anywhere along the helmet that's pretty level to where or parallel where the ground's going to be. You don't want it like way over here, because obviously your helmet, your camera will, the picture when you watch the video is going to be at a 45-degree angle. If you're going to do a lot of videotaping on the rear of you, like if you're going to videotape someone that's riding behind you, put it towards the back of the helmet, hopefully facing down slightly, because when you're riding you're going to be looking down, and so the helmet's going to be tilted up a little bit. You want it to be pointing down, so that way your camera is actually pointing towards the rider opposed to towards the sky. But if you're filming towards the front of you, keep it level, maybe slightly forward, but not much, the most level as possible. But what I'm going to do is I'll use my helmet and attach it to this. I found my midpoint right here, and I set it down so the elevator bolt is directly over the helmet. Use 2 zip ties, one on either end, and it just attaches the bolt and the nut to the helmet. And you can use more than 2 zip ties if you want, if you feel like it's going to be more secure that way. I think 2 probably should suffice. And once you get the zip tie pretty snug, just make sure it's right up against the bolt. That way you have a nice tight fit and the bolt doesn't start swaying back and forth. I'll put another one on the other side. Okay, those are pretty tight. And cut off the ends after you're done zip tying, once you know that they're as tight as you can get them. And at this point you would attach the camera to the helmet, which I already showed you in a previous video. But it's nice and secure. It's not going to move anywhere. And also, if you wanted to do multiple viewing of the camera, or multiple views when you're videotaping, that's what the expansion nut's for. So when you have tension down on it, you can turn it like 180 degrees, so instead of the camera pointing this way, you can flip it around and point it that way, and it'll still hold tension to the camera, and it shouldn't back off by itself if it's tight enough on that expansion nut. But anyways, it's just a easy little way to mount a little camera onto your helmet without having to go down to the store and buy a special helmet that's meant just for videotaping. Now you can use your home camera without spending a whole lot of money. This will only cost you about $2 at the hardware store. Anyways, thanks for watching.